Do you remember the scene in Breaking Dawn Part 2 actually being pretty enjoyable? This huge battle makes up for a lot of it in Marcus, one of the 3 senior members or leaders of the Volturi. Surprisingly, Marcus doesn't put up any resistance. He didn't fight the whole time, just standing still. Anyway, the 2 before he's killed, Marcus calmly speaks the words, "Finally," and appears to die gracefully, happily, like he wanted it to happen. Well, that's because he did want it to happen, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. Marcus was one of the original founding members of the Volturi alongside his wife Didyme, someone he loved very much. Marcus had the ability to identify the emotional ties between people even if they didn't know themselves at that point in time. Basically, he could sense the connection and compatibility between people, and if those 2 people felt that way towards each other. This made him a very useful member of the Volturi. His wife Didyme had the unusual ability to induce happiness to any individual she chooses, another incredible gift like her husband's, but something that Arrow didn't value too much. As vampires are immortal, they can look upon eternal life as a curse and a gift. They find a lot of solace by choosing a partner for life in order to bear difficult times ahead, which is what Marcus had with Didyme. He cherished her more than anything, more than being a vampire, more than his own life. She was his reason for existence after so many years as an immortal. As the Volturi took hold over the vampire world, coven by coven, handpicking the strongest, most gifted vampires, they eventually destroyed their biggest rival for power, the Romanian coven, something its surviving members never forgot. As members of the Volturi, Marcus and Didyme became part of what would be the new vampire law enforcement, literally a coven to make sure the secrets and existence of vampires remains hidden. They participated in all that was required of them for the best part of 3 centuries, and they were considered invaluable by Arrow. So invaluable that they were irreplaceable, and there lies the problem. There was no more Marcuses and Didymes out there. The problem didn't arise until the husband and wife decided that after 3 centuries of dedication to the Volturi, they wanted to leave the coven, to go out on their own and travel to different parts of the world before eventually returning one day, which in vampire terms could have been 50 or so years. This, in Arrow's mind, would have weakened the Volturi, so much that he feared an immediate attack from their enemies at word of 2 of its most powerful members departing. However, when they highlighted their desire to depart, Arrow expressed his disappointment, but wished them well on their new venture. This was of course an act, and Arrow had no intention of ever letting them leave. I just want to mention that Didyme was Arrow's real biological sister, and he had real love for her, but that love did not come before his love for power and order in the vampire world. He killed Didyme and staged it to look as though it was an attack on the coven. He killed his sister to make Marcus stay because he valued Marcus's gift over Didyme's, and stay Marcus did. Outraged and heartbroken over his wife's murder, Marcus sought her killer for decades, but never found any real leads, which resulted in his suspicions towards Arrow, but nothing ever remotely concrete. Despite his reluctance to stay, Arrow still had Chelsea use her power of loyalty over Marcus to ensure his commitment to the coven. Marcus became extremely introverted and a recluse, losing any happiness he once had, and appeared as if he was a soulless shell, existing but not living. He never got over Didyme's death. It haunted him. He carried out necessary duties for the Volturi when required, but had no enthusiasm for anything Volturi related. He took a back seat as Arrow continued his plans for domination. Arrow himself could see what his actions had done to Marcus, and although he did have remorse for killing his closest friend's wife and his own sister, nothing would ever get in the way of his ambition. So Marcus, basically now on autopilot, was faced with spending eternity without his beloved Didyme, something he did not want to face. He considered ways of ending his life and even forcing Arrow's hand, but he never followed through with any of them. Still, he longed for death, and his moment would finally come in the huge battle I mentioned at the beginning of the video between the Volturi and the Olympic Coven's own army. He speaks the words, "finally," because he knows that Stefan and Vladimir want to destroy him, and when they do, he can finally join the woman he loves, wherever that may be, wherever she may be. He will finally be released from his miserable existence, something he had longed for. The only trouble is, it was only a vision of what would happen. It never happened, and Marcus is forced to continue as is. The other notable moment is that it's Arrow who witnesses this vision of the future. He sees Marcus's death. He now truly knows that his coffin brother longs to join his wife, but it's never truly revealed how Arrow feels upon any who defied the laws they set with the Volturi don't give second chances motto. Despite how much I'd love to see them get what's coming to them, I do feel sorry for Marcus. I can't imagine what it's like to feel so hollow, but I found it was really interesting, well, a very interesting moment in Breaking Dawn, because it's the first time we see any real story in Life and Death Twilight reimagined. In the alternate story, the alternate timeline, where nearly all characters have swapped gender and names, Marcus is one of the few who stays the same. In this story, he discovered Arrow's involvement in his wife's demise through Sulpicia, the only witness to the scene, and together executed him and Caius. Since then, he had ruled alongside Sulpicia and Athenadora in a new front three for the Volturi Coven. Anyway guys, that's my video on why Marcus said finally before he was killed in Alice's vision. Were you yourself like me and wondered why he said that? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and make sure to check out the next video. It just might be a little bit better than this one. Thanks for watching.